Hey y'all, quick note. While My Hero Academia was created for kids, this podcast is not safe for work or children. All trigger warnings and spoilers for each episode can be found at our website, myheroanalysis.com. Thanks for listening.
Hey y'all, this is My Hero Analysis, a podcast about My Hero Academia, aka Boku no Hero Academia. We are three grown adults who mine Japanese children's cartoons for serotonin because God knows our brains aren't making it naturally.
Not a bit. The serotonin fields are barren.
The only thing I have serotonin of is a serotonin molecule necklace.
All right, my name is Wyatt. My pronouns are they, them. And instead of doing a fun fact about myself, I'm going to talk about how I'm doing because I am doing great this morning. I am very optimistic. I think we fixed like some of our sound recording issues. We're using different equipment, different like recording software. And I think this is going to go really great. So I'm excited. And I woke up this morning just ready to go.
My name is Nicole. My pronouns are she, they. Fun fact about me is that yesterday I spent way too much money at Michael's on Halloween decorations. And right now there is an octopus skeleton staring at me, and I love him.
Yes, we've dubbed it Cthulhito.
We are all here for the Halloween decorations. That will be me next week.
Hell yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maria. She, they. Fun fact about me. Oh, I started a new job this week, and it's been going great, and I actually feel kind of okay about it.
Look, yes, that's
Yay!
amazing.
Kind of. I'm cautiously optimistic.
That's a good way to be.
Yeah.
That's super awesome, though. You deserve it. You have needed a break for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this week we are covering episode 3 of the anime titled Roaring Muscles and the accompanying manga chapters, which in this case are all of chapter 2 and then roughly half of chapter 3, like slightly less. So to leap right into it, the episode opens with All Might facing a rising sun, which transitions into these floating shots of all his themed merch. It's very, very metaphorical.
Yeah, and it's also truly obsessive on Midoriya's part. It's like a wonderful info dump for the audience, and you can just imagine all the people in his life just rolling their eyes as he goes through it for the 1,000th time, I'm sure.
All I can say is we have All Might in his glorious big booty boy-ness. It's beautiful.
This is just gonna be like an All Might ass fan podcast.
Yes.
Megan, call us.
It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, this really highlights the commercial aspect of hero culture in this society. Also of note, All Might's age and exact quirk. At this point in the show, like we've talked about All Might's age before in an earlier episode, but at this point in the show, those are both unknown to the general public and the viewer. Even after all this time, like he's been at this for quite a while. So the fact that that still isn't known is interesting.
Yeah, and it's really interesting how Izuku's very first line about him is that he was an immediate hit with his fans rather than being like a really strong or pure of heart hero. It's just really interesting and tying into the entire mystery of his pro hero career. It's a great setup.
Oh yeah, lots of mystery and lots of commercialism. They also mentioned that All Might's very presence is apparently enough to deter crime, and Japan has been experiencing historically low crime rates since his appearance, hence the nickname Symbol of Peace. So that phenomenon has been attributed directly to him by the authorities.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice commentary on crime and crime deterrence, but I'm wondering if we even know how well it actually worked. Like, was it an actual decrease in the crime rate, or is it all just propaganda? Just from his mere presence. They want to believe it's more peaceful. All Might himself does believe it is better overall, and it definitely seems better for a lot of people. But as we get into the show, we will see that, as always, even in real life, it is never universally great for everybody, no matter how quote unquote low the crime rate is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, we have to talk about the imagery.
Yes.
That was the thing that stuck out the most to me. Because while Izuku is talking about All Might, it kind of gives me like religious angelic feels with like him being illuminated, all the statues, the shining lights, even the semi-angelic music. I think he's seen almost as a god at this point, and not only by Deku but by a lot of other people as well. And like he's been put on this pedestal. That's what really stuck out to me, because they were giving him like an almost godlike visual.
Yeah, definitely. Which seems a little excessive, but I guess, that's Horikoshi's way of saying like, this is what he is to people. This is how they think of him. Yes, it is that extreme.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not unearned. He is really that good. So the apotheosis of All Might is kind of earned, but also it's not the whole story, like Izuku believes.
For sure.
And we'll definitely see more of that in the future.
Oh yeah, big theme. So yeah, Izuku is just in awe that this is happening, that he's speaking to his hero, and that this hero has told him exactly what he needed / wanted to hear.
Yeah, like all his life amidst this crying episode, whether he's crying because he's happy or because he's having a panic attack, as we mentioned last episode, he's like flashing back to all his haters who told him he was never going to go anywhere, or that they were just sorry that things weren't different. But then the person that he most admired in the world has given him the encouragement he so desperately needed. And I think that propels him more than anything towards actually working towards his goal of becoming a hero. Whereas before, he was really just doing a lot of note taking and analysis, but now he's like ready to actually get to work.
That's a good point.
I think we also need to realize that he's been through the freaking ringer in the span of 12 hours. The fact that he's having a mental breakdown, like I don't think any of us would ever really be able to handle that much. We would probably have a mental breakdown by the end of it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And yeah, he's going through all of the negative feedback. One of the things I noticed is that Bakugo's voice is still at the very forefront. This bitch gay, but
yeah, they're both very important to each other, and in like at this point still in a very antagonistic way, so it's an interesting dynamic.
But baby boy just wanted someone that could tell him he could do it, and now that his hero did it, straight in the feels.
Oh my god, yes, this is just an absolute wallop of feelings. And then I thought this was so funny. This all culminates in All Might making this declaration like, you are worthy to inherit my power. And then Izuku just goes, oh?
Yeah, I had the exact same note when I did my rewatch. And like, even now I can hear his English voice actor saying the, huh? Like in my head on repeat. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I had the same note, but my favorite part was like the absolute transition between Izuku bawling his eyes out to confusion.
Oh yeah, immediate transition. And then of course, we cut to the title sequence.
I love the title sequence. But I ended up totally skipping it this time because I was tired, and next thing I know, it was just like skip title sequence. I hit the remote and the remote skipped, and I was like, no, but I'm too tired to go back, so we're just gonna go with it.
We'll forgive you this time.
It might happen in the future. Whoa, have you met me?
Okay, fair.
You're on thin ice, pal. Yeah.
Anywho.
But then we cut back immediately to Izuku and Small Might, who goes into more detail about his power. So typically quirks are inherited genetically. We went through that whole spiel in the first couple of episodes. But here's All Might claiming the exact opposite. His power was given to him instead of him being born with it, which the rest of the world really doesn't even know is possible.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like a unique thing with him. But I just love how All Might is laughing hysterically at Izuku, like with his big booming laugh, when Izuku is actually asking a perfectly valid question. Like I am actually both of them in this scene. I am laughing at the person wanting information, but also I need more information. Like it's a really funny scene to me.
I also had the same reaction, like the pep talk while spilling blood. It's so dramatic, and I live for it. I absolutely love the dramatics of All and Small Might. So while I was watching this, and actually I'd been thinking about this for a very long time, All Might gave me big dick Leo energy.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, fair.
And I was like, okay, I need to find out when his birthday is. And so I looked it up, and he's a fucking Gemini, and it makes so much sense.
Oh my God.
So much sense, especially considering how he has two sides of him. And like, I really freaked out about this. And I was just like, yep.
Horikoshi, how do you know about Western astrological signs?
I don't know, but I was just like, he is a Gemini. This makes so much sense. Like the dramatics, the having two sides, just like,
oh my God. Okay,
occasional...
yeah. You're gonna have to do a bonus episode on everyone's like astrological signs, which is very Western projecting of us. But I'd be curious to see if there is actually like a continued pattern.
I hope so, but yeah, no, it was in the moment. Like I literally like that was like the one like moment where I had like a moment of clarity because I was very tired rewatching the episode, and I was just like, I need to know. So I went like down a rabbit hole for like 10 minutes.
Well, we love it. That's an amazing discovery.
So yeah, fun fact. Toshi is a Gemini.
Nice. I love it. So yeah, cue Izuku's rant spiral at this revelation. Sweet Babu, but also like in this case, totally fair.
Yeah.
But also like imagine, so All Might has been at this for a really long time, and Hero Society, like this society is rabid for all the information they can get on heroes, their celebrities. Like imagine managing to dodge the question of what exactly his quirk is for decades. Like that had to be exhausting. But then also Small Might mentions that part of the reason he couldn't let anyone know about his power, other than people trying to steal it, obviously, is that in his words, the symbol of peace had to be a natural born hero.
Yeah. And that's all very serious, but this homeboy really do be spilling all of the state secrets to this random teenager. Like, bro.
He really do be out on the streets doing this. Like, sir. I mean,
at this point, he's decided, or he's offering these secrets to Izuku to like take on himself. So in this case, it makes a little more sense than it did up on the roof.
Yeah, but he hasn't run a background check or anything, and I don't think Izuku has even like agreed to it.
He doesn't need a background check. He did a vibe check.
Okay.
He passed.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. Yeah, Izuku definitely passes the vibe check. Okay, now back to being a little more serious. I thought it was kind of squeaky. That the public needed to believe that he was a natural born hero and not like didn't have these extenuating circumstances. Like there's a lot of societal things to unsnarl just in that little fact. And I think this will play out a lot more over the future arcs,
Mm.
particularly when we get to the war arc.
Yeah, I hadn't even noticed that, but you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, things with a capital T to be sure. So yeah, and so Toshi continues the conversation, and he reveals that the name of this quirk, we finally get the reveal, is One for All. And the way he describes the power is a little vague. But basically he mentions that this power A can be passed down from person to person. And then B, he kind of sort of mentions that within each person, like this power like keeps storing up, like this ability keeps storing up power. And then you pass it on to another person who has more power than you did when you first received it, and so on and so forth. But yeah, the explanation itself is kind of vague at this point.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of vague for a reason. Like, you don't want everything laid out for you in the first few pages of any story you're reading.
True.
I don't actually know if he stated then and there that it was actually two quirks in one. I think he did just describe it as a torch to be passed down. But
yeah,
yes.
he didn't use that exact language, but that's the inference you can make from how he describes it.
Yeah, yeah, and we're also coming at it from knowing exactly what One for All is, which we'll learn more when we get to, I believe it's season 3, and then even more deeper into the manga, way past even where we are in the anime, which is the end of season 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. A cue to All Might being super dramatic.
Yes.
And Izuku does best and analyze every possible information he can think of. I have decided this is default setting Deku or recalibration in progress Deku, because I feel like every time he needs to process, he just goes into this mode. So
yes.
For future references, we're going to go, I'm going to start saying default setting Deku.
I love it.
It's beautiful.
I love it. Yeah, and the culmination of all that recalibration is Izuku asks, "Why are you giving me something so great?" Like, you can just hear my heart breaking. And then Small Might reveals that he's been looking for a successor given his injury. And Horikoshi gives the watcher another look at his scarred up torso in case we somehow forgot that he's walking around without half of his organs.
Yeah, there's the organ loss, but I do like that it kind of looks like a pretty flower.
It's a very aesthetic scar, for sure. And then Small Might continues on. He wants to give this power to Izuku, specifically because he's quirkless, but also because he displayed more courage than pretty much everyone else during the Sludge Guy attack. Also, I mean, honestly, I think he's seeing himself as a kid when he looks at Izuku. There's clearly a personal connection already, and like people joke about them being related for a pretty good reason. Like, I could see it.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see it. And right here, Izuku goes right back into his muttering mode, as we can also call it, as his entire reality of quirkdom is upended. And then in the dub, All Might literally yells at him, "Stop nerding out."
Oh my God. He definitely doesn't do that in the sub. That's really
no.
funny.
I think his English voice actor just kind of makes it a bit more humorous than in the sub.
Mm-hmm.
I love his English voice actor, by the way. But after that, it is followed by a really packed line. And that is, adjust your reality and accept the truth. I'm not particularly sure what it's packed with, but it feels really heavy all the same, knowing what is coming so far down the line. Like, there is so much coming for them, and adjusting the reality is going to happen so many times. And I just love that it was kind of just seated right there in the 3rd episode.
I totally missed that. And again, it's probably because I was tired while I was watching this.
Oh, you were sleepy, baby.
Yeah. Quick aside, if you're starting a new job, make sure you get 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Also,
minimum.
Also, if you had an irregular sleep schedule like I did, it's going to take a time, and it's going to hit a point where you're like, no, I can't do this, but you'll be able to do it. Okay, quick aside done.
Yeah, to go back to Nicole, what you were saying about how like that line feels heavy. The phrase popped in my head. He put his whole pussy into that line.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, wait. And also his English voice actor, think about who he also voices in Yuri on Ice.
I don't remember.
He voices the Chris, the
Oh my god. Sorry. My mic is like right in front of my mouth and I just screamed into it.
Oh my god.
My god, that's beautiful. Okay.
I'm never gonna look at Chris the same.
Oh
I mean,
You can't.
I've never looked at Chris the same before. But
Oh my
Yeah.
god. I'm gonna have to determine whether to keep that in or not. That's holy shit.
No, it's hilarious. You have to keep it in, but also up to you.
I'll probably trim like little bits out. Okay, so moving on from Chris and All Might and Pussies and that incredible voice actor.
Yes.
So Izuku, he agrees to this right away. He agrees to Small Might's offer to take on One for All right away, obviously. But I thought it was just so adorable that like Small Might in the midst of this conversation would get really worked up and then like have to rein himself back in and then get really worked up again and then have to rein himself back in. And he's all like, oh, but of course it's up to you. Like, I don't want to force you, but also please do this.
Yeah, I don't want to force you into this, even though I've spilled all these state secrets. And if you refuse, we're probably going to have to put you into some sort of witness protection program.
Shh. Fine, it's
Um,
fine.
It's fine.
He
it's
passed
fine.
the vibe check. It's fine.
Oh, All Might, you're so clueless. I love you. Anyway, also in the English dub, one of his lines as that scene is ending is, "You got to stop crying so much."
Oh,
Which,
I mean, fair.
yeah, fair, but also it's okay to cry. Let your feelings out, baby.
yeah,
um,
he's still very, very much wound up
Yeah,
in this portion of his life.
he is so keyed up. He's suddenly getting so much encouragement that he cannot compute, and so he like can't turn All Might down. So of course he's going to say yes. Also, one little bit, All Might with the one hand on his forehead and looking down, smiling, is inexplicably sexy to me.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
It was
I'm so
was
glad
like,
you said something.
oh my god, like I don't know why either. It's just like, hi, you're pretty.
It's that jawline.
Yes.
Yeah. Poor baby Izuku. I just want to give
Yes.
him a hug all the time.
Yes.
All the time. But I do like how small. I specifically said small. SMOL. Small Might.
He's small.
He is. Gives Deku a choice. Because letting him know whether or not to take on the quirk, but he still believes in his ability to become a hero. And yes, we all know baby Izuku is gonna say it.
Yeah, he was gonna say yes.
I mean, all this boy ever wanted was just to be a hero. And when your hero tells you you can be a hero, there's no point in not believing at that point.
Yeah, there's only one answer to give.
Poor baby. He's fine. He'll do
That'll be
good things.
fine.
Yeah, he'll do good things, right?
Yeah.
Well, cutscene to Dagobah Municipal Beach a couple days later. Tiny little baby Izuku is pulling a fridge, which All Might is sitting on top of. Just very strong Yoda vibes in this episode.
Yeah. Like, how dare you put that together? Because all I got out of it was the Dagobah Beach. And he's not even trying to be vague at this point. But of
No.
course, I didn't actually connect the fact that the Yoda training, isn't it on Dagobah?
Yeah, it's in the Dagobah system.
Yeah, I didn't put those two together, and I'm forever mad.
I did not realize this little tidbit, but I am absolutely here for it.
Yeah,
So
not
mad.
subtle. Not subtle at all. Also, All Might, so he gives his weight in the show in kilograms. We're stupid Americans, so I looked it up in pounds. All Might weighs over 560 pounds on his own when he's in the All Might state, and he's sitting on top of a fridge.
He's very large.
He's a large boy.
Mm.
Yeah. But even with him being that heavy and us knowing that Izuku is never going to move that fridge at this point, I
No.
do want to point out that I love that how like heckin' sarcastic he's being. Like he's let his guard down so much just in these past couple of days with him, and he's taking pictures of Izuku with his cell phone like a goofy dad.
Yes.
I just love all this energy, what's going on here on the beach. And then another funny line he said, because apparently I just like all his funny lines. He says, "I'm talking about your weak body." Like, rude. Sir, that's rude. That's a child.
Mean.
Yeah, All Might really out here just giving Izuku sass and just gunning for him. I love him taking pictures of crying Izuku. It's just perfection. It is perfection.
Hilarious.
Honestly,
yeah,
I would probably do that to my own kids. Future kids, I'm sorry. But not really.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Like their dynamic has already been firmly established. And it's beautiful. Why is All Might making Izuku pull around a half ton of weight on a very polluted beach? It's because One for All has been stockpiling up within Toshi. And I don't think we mentioned that explicitly yet, so I'm just going to reinsert that here. Toshi in this case is All Might / Small Might. I actually don't remember when we finally learn his name in the series, but we're just going to call him Toshi. We're just going to call him a lot of things, and y'all are just along for the ride. We're so sorry. But basically, One for All has been stockpiling up, and if Izuku inherits it right away, the sheer power of it would make him literally explode. It's a very interesting visual to go along with that. So cleaning up the beach is his training.
Sir, your limbs.
They just pop off.
Yeah, I just love the frame of exploding Deku because it's just the cutest way to show Izuku blowing up. It's so cute. I love it.
Oh my god, it's a lot. I do love that All Might is trying to teach Izuku that like quote unquote true or like ideal hero work it's dirty, it's thankless, it's volunteer based. Often no one knows that you're the one who's done it, but it's still work that needs to be done, which is the exact opposite of what their culture teaches. And maybe even though it doesn't really exist, like he's showing Izuku that this is like a higher ideal to strive for, even if it can never be fully reached.
Yeah, exactly. Like heroes today are all about being flashy and catching villains, but before quirks, public service is what matters, at least in Toshi's mind. And that's a beautiful and utopian idea to have of the past, but it's only in theory because quirkless society is still very much about getting the glory wherever you can get it. Like, we get it, Horikoshi. You don't have to beat us with this mirror. You're putting in front of us.
Yeah, I definitely had just literally the same notes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely agree with everything. But blushing baby Izuku is my favorite. He could save entire nations with just smiling. Like, he's so cute and I just want to hug him all the time.
Yes, his genuine smile is absolutely adorable.
Like, no wonder everybody loves him.
Oh, for sure.
Right? I mean, I'm sure all of us are on the Izuku fan club train forever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he could do no wrong.
Absolutely. Nope. Okay, so moving on from getting away from our little Izuku shrine. Izuku has 10 months until the UA exam, and All Might once again mentions that he will need to be ready to receive One for All by then, because he will need a quirk to get in. And we'll get to the nature of the exam later on in the episode, this episode, and we'll talk more about how it's unfairly structured during season 2 when a character named Shinzo is introduced.
Shinzo!
Shinzo!
Yeah, like, okay, Aizawa, but also, yeah, I agree. It's unfairly structured.
Yeah. So in order to meet this goal, All Might has given Izuku a super strict schedule that takes into account like his schoolwork, his sleep schedule, and eating regimen. Like he's basically ordered his entire life for him for these next 10 months. And actually, the more I was thinking about it, like cleaning up the beach is unorthodox, but it's a pretty good way to build functional fitness. Izuku mentions in the episode that he uses a different set of muscles every day for each task. So it's total body focused. It involves movements you would use in the real world. Because like you're not going to lift, like a washing machine the same way you would do a deadlift. Like those are two completely different movements. So like this kind of exercise program is pretty good. So good job, All Might. You're not quite teacher material yet, but like you're getting there.
Yeah,
There's potential.
He's getting there. He'll get there eventually. I do really like that restoring the coastline for his community is Izuku's very first step toward becoming a hero. Like it's very nice and fluffy compared to what we're going to get later.
Oh God.
So it's just a nice dichotomy there. Also building off your point, Wyatt, about him nearly being a teacher, I do kind of like that All Might is Izuku's like personal trainer rather than just like a full-on teacher right off the bat. And it also makes the whole superhero preparation trope montage much more grounded than in a lot of like ability properties. And
That's true.
Really loved that. And then the last point is that the plan is called the Aim to Pass American Dream Plan. Like, All Might, sir, you're Westaboo. Anyway, also he's like whispering in Izuku's ear like a goober. I am just in love with this goofball man.
He's perfect.
Same. Yeah, I thought All Might was really good at pushing Deku in these scenes. I also think this is probably one of his better teaching moments because we have a few coming up that are not the best.
There's a learning curve, and he rides it a little too hard.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I like how he fires Izuku up, but also helps him remember why he's doing what he's doing. And the training plan. Ugh, I love this man so much. The American puns, everything he does. Ugh, love him. But my favorite part, montage time.
Yes.
I always enjoy a good montage, and I love Small Might and All Might during this entire time. The drama, the sass, here for it. Even whenever he looks at the screen, I love it. Perfection.
Yeah, it's a really good montage, and it pretty neatly just smushes like, was it 6 or 7 months of time into into just a few minutes. And it's done very neatly and it's very funny. Of course, Izuku decides to deviate from the schedule to work even harder, which almost burns him out and offsets his progress. I also wanted to note we get another little moment with his teacher. So Izuku is having like a little anxiety spiral during class where he's like trying to figure out how much progress he'll need to make by a certain point. He's kind of freaking out about it. And the teacher snaps him out of it by making fun of his altercation with the villain. I hate this man. Why are you in what? Why are you teaching if you clearly hate children so much?
Right?
Yeah, there's so many bad teachers in this middle school.
Christ.
I do like at this point, like in the montage, we do get one shot of Katsuki looking out the window, pretending to ignore everything that's going on when we know he is eavesdropping on literally everything.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, and this eavesdropping like continues through the rest of the show. It's beautiful. Yep. I love him. And also during this montage, we get shown Inko again, like she's back. She's helping Izuku with his training. Even though she has no idea what's going on, she just wants to support him. And she's so good. She's so pure.
Give him all the foods.
Yes, exactly. And then my last point on the montage is that when he's or when Izuku is swimming and All Might is keeping an eye on him. Like, All Might, you're celebrity, your goofy ass fucking 1920 swimsuit. It's so ridiculous, but I love it so much. I should not love him like I do, but I do. He's such a goober.
Oh my God, the swimsuit is amazing.
I love it. And then the matching sweatsuits at the end of the montage.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I love All Might and his dorky dad vibes.
He's such a fucking dork. How is he so sexy?
He's wonderful.
I don't know. he has husband material. That's
Yes.
that is what it is. He has husband material. Like, he's the type of man you would bring home.
Yes,
Mhm.
he is. He's
Our
perfect.
uteruses are just infecting our brains, trying to force us to procreate.
It's
um,
rude.
It's working.
Yeah, it's rude and it's working.
Not for me.
But yeah, in the montage, we see Izuku, like, he's making progress really quickly. But of course, he overworks himself and he ends up collapsing during a training session, which is serious, but also Segway might.
Mhm.
Segway might is
He's on a
the
fucking
best.
Segway.
We need more Segway might.
We do. And
And
it's also colorful around him too.
Oh my god. It's this oh my god, that's just this entire episode is just a fucking delight.
Yep.
But yeah, so Izuku collapses and at first he's like, "You didn't stick to the program." And then he finds out that Izuku's been doing too much and he's like, "Oh, okay, I get it. Like, this kid is really fucking dedicated to his dream." Like, that it finally hits him just how far Izuku is willing to go. And he definitely admires that and like doesn't want to discourage that. But he still makes sure that Izuku understands that some things just can't be rushed, like no matter how badly you want it. Some things you have to go slow and steady.
Yeah, and he's just very impressed by the fighting spirit. And he assures him that the plan can be adjusted to match the level of determination, which I think is really nice of
Mhm.
him
Yeah.
as a mentor.
I do like how All Might immediately knew what was wrong with Izuku. Like, sweetheart, I know you want to get it and get in, but please take care of your body. Again, no sense of self-preservation.
None.
His
None.
dedication is admirable, but sometimes Izuku just needs a breather.
Mhm.
Cough, cough. Not that I take my own advice, but we're not going to talk about that. Cough, cough. I'm a goddamn adult and I do what I want. And then Small Might turning into All Might whenever gets excited is probably one of my favorite repeating gags throughout the entire series. Just like,
He's so ridiculous.
he'll be like, yeah, we can do this now. And I'm just like, love it. Here for it. Get to see my two versions of Might. We're good. We're happy.
So February 26th is the date of the exam. All Might gets to the beach and Izuku, he cleared out all of the beach. He achieved his goals and then some. Like, he did such a good job. The beach looks so fucking good. Izuku is at the top of this like final pile of trash that he managed to clear out from the beach, just like yelling to the skies. Like, all of this stress, all of this energy that he's put into the last 10 months just like releases itself in one fucking primal scream. And it just, oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, that
I need to
victory
breathe.
speech was wonderful. We all felt
Yes.
his victory screech. And then like right after that, All Might in the dub has a line. It's "holy stinking super crap," and he
Oh my
blows back
God.
up because he's excited. And it's the best line in the show so far.
Yeah,
God.
beefed up Izuku, screaming at the top of his lungs, sitting on a pile of trash at 6 a.m.
Oh my
It's
god.
beautiful, but I would still be curled up and passed the fuck out at that time.
Mm-hmm.
If you see me screaming like that in the morning, run and run as fast. It's a beautiful beach scene. I
Yes.
love how everything is glowing and clean, and just how much our baby Izuku went above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, he tends to do all the goddamn time,
Oh yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yep. And then All Might shows him the pic he took of him 10 months ago when they started. And then we look down at Izuku's uncomfortably jacked body. It's just a humorous moment. And also I do want to point out that All Might holds his phone long ways, but only with his thumb and his pointer finger. Like, sir, you're far too large for this world.
I would kill to see what his texts look like.
He probably
Just-
has like little thumb pointers, like,
He'd have to.
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so Izuku's buff, which was the point. And it's so strange because it's this like ripped, jacked, like basically grown-up body on this like little nuggety child with the world's roundest baby face. It's so incongruous. It's so funny. And yeah, teenagers don't look like that.
Yeah.
Or if they do, there's an issue.
Yeah. Our peers never looked like that, but also they
No.
could never have looked like that because they're not Izuku.
Yeah,
But
Izuku's special.
yeah, he's special. But also, yes, like all the buff teens you see, especially in the coming episodes,
Mhm.
you get a little too uncomfortably close to body image squickiness
Yeah.
if you pause to examine your own suspension of reality. But I mean, the point is that they are heroes. They're supposed to be jacked. So
Oh yeah,
You
this
could-
is definitely like another time when following the letter of the law versus following the spirit of the law, like we're taking a very literal interpretation here.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's making things uncomfortable when it wasn't necessarily intended to be that way.
Yeah, it's almost like we're overthinking it.
Who knew?
Hmm.
Hey, we can do that.
We would never.
Never.
Yeah, moving along. Izuku has done all this hard work. He's done such a fucking good job. It's phenomenal. But of course, he still thinks he doesn't deserve to receive one for all, and he calls it cheating. Like, baby, no, you earned that. Like, you more than earned that. And thank God, All Might makes sure that he knows that, or at least tries to get it through his skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the dub, the line is that someone told All Might once that there's a difference between being lucky and deserving. One is an accident and the other is a reward, and that he should never get the two confused. And that line just kind of hit home.
I wonder who told him that.
I wonder.
I wonder if that will have further impact in future episodes.
Oh, gee, could it really?
Okay, but yeah, also we need to talk about this.
Mhm.
Eat this. So you have to consume DNA from the current One for All holder in order to receive it yourself. A strand of hair is one of the more innocent options, I think.
No, I disagree. That he could have spit into a protein shake, because eating hair is just the grossest thing ever. Like, sir, you're Pica.
I mean, but also like the sexual connotations of spitting.
Why did you have to bring that up?
Oh,
'Cause you
it's been
didn't.
brought up many times. And honestly, like, that is not even the most obscene one of them all.
Y'all nasty.
There's a certain TikTok going around that I saw that with All Might and Izuku's mom.
No,
Oh my god!
no, I don't want to know. Oh my God.
I would like to be the filling in that sandwich.
Right?
Says the firmly
fair.
asexual one.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I can get behind that. Nothing else, though.
Uh-huh.
Just don't mention spinning around Nicole. It's fine.
Mm-mm. Do not.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about spitting.
Oh my god. Okay, moving on. Well, not moving on because okay, this will become important later. When we learn more about the previous OFA holders far in the future. That is a long way away. But in the meantime, this is just it's very funny.
Yeah, it's one of the like pivotal scenes in the fandom. Like, you can always find somebody making more content about it. And
Yes.
in the dub, I'm not sure about the sub again. All Might says, "Eat, eat, eat," and then Izuku just screams as he's eating. It's so ridiculous. I love it.
Again, another beautiful scene of bonding, only to be rudely interrupted by All Might giving Deku a piece of his hair.
Oh my
Like,
God.
sir, maybe you should explain things a little bit better.
Yes.
No one can understand what's going on in your mind if you don't fucking say it. Also, life pro tip. And I think this is also the introduction of another main character, Izuku's red shoes.
Yes.
Yes,
Why are the shoes so important?
we'll talk
Deku
about it.
scream in the distance. What did you do? Did you shove it down his throat like you would give medicine a cat? If you've done it before, I applaud you. If you haven't, please pray. You never have to. Because if you do eventually need to wrap the claws and make a cat Dorito. Trust me.
Oh my God. Imagine like All Might having to wrap Izuku up in a blanket.
And a Zuccarito.
Oh my God.
Wrap your Izuku carefully before giving him his quirk.
Make sure all limbs are contained.
So they don't explode off.
Oh my God. Shit. Okay. So. Oh my God. Sorry. I need a minute. Okay. So.
Okay.
In the manga, this is where chapter 2 ends and chapter 3 begins. But the anime episode keeps going, so will we.
Yes. And we'll also talk about the slight difference down at the bottom of the episode right before our Easter egg and fan theory rundown.
Yes, we will. We will do all of that.
Yes.
But to keep going with the episode, so Izuku just barely makes it to the exam on time. Like he was still cleaning up the beach that morning. And he doesn't have time to test out the power.
Yeah. And like before we actually get to the exam itself, I just coming into it as an American viewer, the whole having to take an exam to get into a certain high school was definitely odd from a Western standpoint, at least from an American who went to public schools, where you just kind of go to the next grade as long as you have passing grades. So you just get into high school. So this whole thing was a little weird, but then I did remember that we also have like special schools. Like there were 2 other schools in my district that you had to actually test into. So it does make sense if you pause to think about it.
I actually could have gone to one of those schools in my district because we had something called early college.
Yeah.
And I got into it. I could have gone there if I wanted to, but it was too far away. So I didn't end up going. And I also really wanted to like have a normal high school experience.
Right.
So I just was not, because the school would have been at a university and I would have gotten college credit, but at the same time, I don't think I would have been able to have like the normal high school things going there. And I really wanted that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So just so our listeners who may not be Americans aren't confused, we're going to go ahead and do like a really quick breakdown of the US school system as much as we can. It's a lot. But yeah. Anyway, so in the US school system, there are many different types of schools that all serve different purposes, but they can all be sorted into 2 main categories, public versus private. So public schools receive government funding. They have to obey federal mandates, which can sometimes dictate what can and can't be taught in the classroom. And they are generally, quote unquote, like free to attend. So there aren't like tuition fees. You don't have to qualify to get in. Your attendance at that school is determined by your school district. So the US is broken down into states, and states are broken down into counties. And then counties are broken down into school districts. And if you live in the district for a school, that's the school you go to. Public schools also tend to offer more assistance for families in need. So Maria, you mentioned that transportation to and from that, quote unquote, better school that would give you more opportunities. Transportation was a problem. Public schools typically offer transportation in the form of school buses, things like free lunch, which I think both Maria, you and I had.
Yep.
And then sometimes like certain test fees for like
would be
special
waived.
tests. Yeah, so certain things would be covered for you if your family could prove that they met like a certain threshold, basically. Private schools, on the other hand, receive non-government funding. There usually are tuition fees. Sometimes there are entrance exams, but often not. For these, if you want to go to these schools, your parents have to go there and they have to enroll you for you to attend, and they have to fill out all this paperwork, pay whatever they have to pay. So that's how you get into a private school generally. There are more specialized schools where, as Maria mentioned, you have to test into it in order to be qualified to go. And some of those have fees, some of those don't. It all really just depends. And something else that we had mentioned in a previous episode, we just like really quickly mentioned it and we didn't explain it at all, is something called tracking, which is also called streaming or phasing. So students are assigned to different classes based on perceived achievement. So kids with higher grades or quote unquote better behavior or certain extracurriculars like participation in certain clubs will get assigned to higher level classes that count more towards your grade point average. And I've also included a link on the website for how grade point average is calculated in the US. Some classes can count towards college credit. Some schools even partner with local colleges, like Maria mentioned, so that you can take classes at the college. Sometimes your parents can talk to school faculty and get you into a higher level class, even if you don't meet all the requirements.
Yeah. Yeah, I took a bunch of college courses while I was in high school, but I did not take AP exams. But those were both available to me because I was in the honors classes.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a whole a whole series of like tiers of classes.
Yeah, exactly. So I was I was on the academic top tier. And that really just got me a higher grade point average, which was good for getting into college, but grade point average doesn't really matter after college or even after high school. And as far as parents talking to the school faculty to get people into higher classes, I had that, but it was because I wanted to get out of pre-calc and go to like the lower math class because I did not get anything that was going on in pre-calc. It was just not computing. So
that's a good point. Like if you're not doing well in a class, like sometimes your parents can get you out of that class.
Yep.
So the reverse is also true.
Honestly, I don't remember anything from pre-calc. I spent most of my time reading.
There you go. Perfect.
I still passed the class with an A. I don't know how.
Nice. Yeah, so there's also an unofficial track called the school to prison pipeline. But if we start talking about this here, we're all going to get very heated, and we'll be here all day. And like I'm trying not to turn this podcast into my personal soapbox. So there are plenty of links on the website. You can go look those up. I found a lot of really, really good sources that just like very cleanly lay things out, what that is, the issues with it, how to stop it.
Yeah. We
but
could
really,
probably,
I'm sorry.
We could probably also put some of those in the show notes too.
Oh yeah, no, they're going in the show notes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, the show notes have a direct link to the all of the resources that I use for that specific episode.
Oh, that's beautiful. Good job.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
That's what I spent this week doing, was just messing around the website. But yeah, the overall takeaway, the US school system is confusing. It's very inconsistent. It's supposedly merit-based, but it's really just classist and racist and heavily dependent on how well your parents can or will advocate for you. That's probably the biggest determining factor in how your schooling goes.
Yep.
So yeah, we just wanted to throw that out there because we spent a lot of time in previous episodes more or less roasting the Japanese school system, and ours is not any better.
Yeah,
we'll not the best.
We'll
significantly worse systems in many ways. So yeah, okay, so moving forward, so Katsuki shows up to UA at the same time. It's kind of threatening towards Izuku, although Izuku does reveal that Katsuki hasn't really bothered him since he saved him from the sludge guy. Of course, Izuku's fear hasn't faded because, he was bullied for a really long time, and that's not just going to go away overnight, no matter how much you yell at yourself to get over it, Izuku, darling.
Yeah, and
therapy.
They all need therapy, poor dears. And in the dub, Katsuki literally says stupid Deku from behind him as he's walking up. Like he grumbles it as he recognizes the back of his head. And Izuku does turn around all excited, like in that moment, like his first instinct is to smile when he hears Bakugo call him stupid Deku. Like, sir,
Darling.
The mixed messages between your old friendship and your more recent bullying. I can't
This
imagine.
bitch gay.
Yeah, I can't imagine what's going on in that little head of his. And then,
good Lord, poor child.
poor thing. And then as Bakugo kind of walks past, he says, "Get out of my way now before I set you on fire." Like, sir, your hazardous quirk use is still not allowed, even though you're not on your middle school grounds.
Yeah. He's our favorite Pommy.
Yeah.
And of course he wants to kill Deku. But like, just keep telling yourself that, you angry pup. If you really wanted to hurt Deku, you would have already done it.
Yeah.
But also quit saying it. That's rude.
Yes. All these things are true.
Yeah. And as Katsuki is walking towards the entrance, a couple of the other students recognize him because of the sludge guy attack, and he like mostly ignores the comments. Like it's pretty clear that they bother him because his shoulders kind of go up. But honestly, this in itself is a sign of progress, that he's finally like at least starting to rein in some of his immediate emotional reactions, and he doesn't just immediately start blowing stuff up.
Yeah, that's true. But also that bystander is basically gossiping out loud where everyone can hear, including Katsuki. And like, sir, like shut your face with your triggering gossip. You don't know what's going through his head when you're reminding him of everything that happened. It's not nice.
Oh, middle schoolers.
Oh yeah. Oh, also, random thought: do these kids like not retain any of their middle school friends when they move on to high school?
I really didn't. Maria, what about you?
Arlene. So I met Arlene in middle school. But one of the things with this, they have actually like a lot of animes will have the return of the childhood friend, even though like they're in high school. But
Okay.
yeah, a lot of animes will have that, like the return of the childhood friend. So they do remain friends, but it's just a little different than how we see it, especially because again, all of these people go to different schools, whereas with us, we kind of tend to stay in the same school districts.
Okay.
Yeah. But even
that
then,
makes sense.
like I feel like my friend group and like even just like general social dynamics like shifted pretty drastically from middle to high school. Like who was considered cool, or like who people wanted to talk to, like different friend groups and how they were structured, like all of that changed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it does
I
make
don't know if that's
sense.
true for y'all.
I really can't speak to it because I don't remember who I was friends with in middle school into high school, except like the people in band.
Yeah, no,
I
I
like
had
traveled
a few.
with the band people. Okay, cool. So then the next thing I have is that after Katsuki walks away, Izuku has to remember all the hard work he's put in and that he's not actually defenseless anymore, especially from his childhood bully. And like, sweet Babu, it's okay. You're making so much progress. You're doing so good.
God, yes.
Also, motherfucker, is that a Yoda statue in the background?
I
as
didn't
he's walking
notice, but
into UA?
probably.
It's a statue with big ass ears. It looks like Yoda.
It's probably Yoda.
I'm so mad.
I didn't see this, but again, I was really tired when I was rewatching the episode.
Go back and watch as Izuku is walking into UA. It's freaking Yoda. I'm so mad.
Horikoshi really not trying anymore.
No, he's not trying to hide it.
He's having a grand old time. So moving on, Izuku is, he's still pretty nervous about the exam. So as he's walking forward, he accidentally trips, but he's saved by a girl who makes him float. New character alert! Ochako Uraraka. She's perfect. We love her. This is an Ochako Stan podcast. If you don't like her, go away. We don't want your patronage.
Leave. There's a big door with your name on it. Goodbye.
Get out.
Although I'm perfectly sure that Ochako can take care of herself.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Oh yeah, but like we're also behind her, looming threateningly at anyone who dares say anything bad about her.
Yes. We are her bulldogs.
So like, and right as like Izuku is falling, he has like his little internal monologue kind of pumping
Always.
himself up. And then he, right before Uraraka shows up, he does trip over his own feet and
Yes.
like is about to face plant. And like as he's like doing his little internal monologue, he says, "I am going to be a hero." And then he falls. And then the next line in his internal dialogue is, "I guess I'll just die." Like, sir, you are so dramatic. There's no need for this. I love the dub. I have to say, I love the dub.
Yeah. Again, we get another shot of his shoes.
Mhm.
Okay, so like after he falls and after Uraraka shows up, I just want to point out that Uraraka is a precious being, and
Yes.
she even apologizes for not getting his consent first when she uses her quirk. Like, she is totally normal, totally grounded, and I love her. She is perfect.
I love her. The sweet, precious child gets saved by my other child. I'm so happy. Sorry, I got distracted. I was looking up what Izuku's sign was, and he's a Cancer, and it makes so much sense.
Oh my god.
I'm a Cancer too. I'm completely a Deku Kenny.
You really are.
Oh my god.
This
Oh my
makes
God.
so much sense again. He's very into his emotions, this poor sweet baby child. But he could fuck you up in a second. But oh my god, it makes so much sense.
That yeah, we're gonna have to do a whole series.
Yep.
So yeah. Ochako saves Izuku and she's like, okay, bye. And Izuku is like, I talked to a girl, and just, freaking out. Which, I mean, I was a little annoyed by that because, like, have you seriously never talked to a girl before? Your grade school class is full of girls. And like, I know this is where like my willing suspension of disbelief is supposed to kick in, and I'm just supposed to like accept the anime trope that we're clearly playing into. But I don't like this particular one, so I'm not gonna play. But Ochako, I mean, she's fucking adorable, and I think it would have made sense for him to be like, oh my god, she's the cutest girl I've ever seen.
Yeah. That him being completely flustered is definitely just heteronormative shonen conditioning. Yeah, but also I want to point out that Izuku didn't actually say any words as Uraraka was talking to him. He's just my poor, sweet, socially awkward son. It's okay.
Deku is broken. But I do want to add a little bit to that.
Yeah.
We do have to take into consideration Izuku was pretty much like bullied his entire life. So the fact that he hasn't actually had a conversation with a girl is very feasible.
Yeah, that's very true.
I disagree.
I mean, he's probably had to ask them, "Oh, can I have a pencil or something?"
Exactly.
But I don't think he's ever really had like a moment like that.
Yeah, like a proper conversation. Or even small talk.
I think I find the trope too annoying to even consider.
That's fair.
I mean, that's fair. This trope is very much prevalent in a lot of other animes. But again, in the context of Izuku, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Like, poor sweet child is very socially awkward.
He is. I'll give you that.
But yes, he is broken.
Okay, so then we get into UA, into the it's like this giant auditorium where they're going to be taking their written exam, and we get a new character alert. This one I'm so pumped for. This is Present Mike, aka one of my many spouses, aka my fucking obsession. Like, half the people I follow on TikTok are Present Mike cosplayers. I have zero regrets. Oh my god, I love him so much. Just yeah. Okay, I'm fine. I hope that wasn't too loud. But also, if it was, it would be in character. Yeah. Full disclosure, though, I really didn't like him at first because of the hair mustache combo. I wasn't vibing with, but then I saw his hair down in a later episode, and I saw the error of my ways and fully repented.
I fully disagree. His hair is amazing, But I do have to agree on the mustache. The rat stash just has to go.
Wyatt, this is your boy up in this bish.
Yes.
The one and only.
Yes.
But the deafening silence, the crickets, Deku fangirling over there with President Mike while sitting next to Bakugo, the glitter, the drama. Ah,
It's beautiful. Oh, we love Present Mike on this
we
so
do.
much.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like when I saw President Mike, I didn't hate him. I loved him from the get-go.
I thought he
just
was
like-
goofy.
Yeah, I was just like, he's here.
He
He's
is here.
beautiful. I do.
Yeah.
I do agree with the stash though. The stash was a little off-putting, but I was like, you know what? Nah.
Yeah, it's got to go.
We've accepted the stash.
So anyway, yeah, Mike is perfect minus his rat stash. But also he does introduce himself as your school DJ. And like, sir, stop underselling yourself. You are a
Yes.
masterpiece. You are wonderful. Also, like Maria said, I do love that he keeps getting absolute silence in response to his call and response questions. God, I love him. He cannot read a room to save his life, but he
Nope.
just keeps trucking on. It's great. I love him.
I love him. He's
I
like,
remember-
let me hype up all these teenagers. And they're like, we're stressed about this exam. Can we please just start?
Yeah, it reminds me of like honestly college orientation
Yeah.
Oh my
where they're
God.
like trying to get us piped, and all of us are just like, we don't know what we're doing.
We're hungover and confused. Yeah. So the exam itself has two parts. There's a written exam, which they're about to take, and then a practical exam. The practical exam involves a 10-minute melee fight against a bunch of robots with various points assigned to them, and you win points by taking the robots down. So it's definitely biased towards like battle/attack oriented quirks. So that's the nature of the exam, and then we'll get into the ramifications of that once we get into season 2.
Yeah. And as Mike is explaining the practical exam, he does say in the dub to gird your loins, my friends.
Oh my God.
Sir, these are children. Let's not talk about loins in front of the children.
I mean, children know more than we let them on.
Yeah, but you
Just
don't have
putting that
to.
out.
You don't have to like be gross about it.
I think
don't
it's
know.
just a phrase.
I know. I analyze dialogue too much.
But also maybe like don't freak out the children.
Yeah,
Just a little
that's
bit.
that's a better point. Yeah. And also as he is explaining it, Izuku he says he listens to Mike's radio show every day. And he goes right into fanboy mode over the voice
Same.
hero, and he blushes like a gay little goober. And like, sir, your bisexuality and accompanying possible asexuality/demisexuality. It's right there. And we're definitely not projecting.
Not projecting at
Oh,
all.
he is. Oh, 100%. Like I am sure this boy got a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
He got a
That's
lot
a good way to
going
put
on.
it. We also learn in the midst of this explanation that Katsuki and Izuku won't be taking their exam together, even though they're from the same school. There's like a serial number system, and they intentionally split kids up so that you're like not fighting your classmates
Yeah.
or
yeah,
not
and-
fighting all of them.
Yeah, that's true. And like Izuku they're sitting next to each other in the auditorium, which makes me wonder if they had assigned seating or if Katsuki is actually just too nervous to kick him away. And like, as he's doing his little muttering thing, he does tell him to shut up, but he says it with such a resigned tone in his voice. You know this happens like all the time.
But yeah, no, I think maybe what happened was that both of them were just like, I know you, you know me. We're just gonna sit together and like
Yeah, that happens all the
become
time
this
too.
bubble of stress.
Yeah, the one source of familiarity and just a sea of discomfort and fear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know where this note went to, but Katsuki also, like, as he's pointing out this serial number system, he
Mhm.
says, okay, so we won't be able to team up with our friends. Like, oh, are you admitting that Izuku is your friend, sir? I heard that. You're not slick.
Yeah, Katsuki, make up your damn mind, darling.
Yeah.
Angst. He is angst.
Angst.
God, that's an old reference. So yeah, President Mike's explanation is interrupted by another new character, another one that I love with my whole heart, Tenya Ida. He is my son, my sweet, ultra serious, anxious, stick in the mud. Like he is to me what Katsuki is to Nicole. Like Nicole will defend Katsuki to the death. I will defend this child to the death. I love him.
Yeah. And I was honestly so surprised when you picked Ida for your son.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't Ida. But we love him.
It wasn't Ida either. But I'm not surprised.
No, not surprised at all. And
My
so
son still hasn't appeared, but he will soon.
he's
so
close.
excited.
He's almost here.
We're so close.
Yep. Okay, so as Ida shows up, he proceeds to verbally berate President Mike for the perceived paperwork, like typos and irregularities. Like, sir, your possible OCD and neurodivergence / autism spectrum placement, sir.
For sure.
Yep. And also,
Not projecting at all.
no, we never project on this podcast. It's all very objective. Anyway, and he also after he verbally berates that pro hero, he immediately turns around and also berates Izuku for his muttering. Like, sir, now your anxiety is just manifesting as rudeness, honey. It's okay.
# rude.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. When we get to the episode where Ida and Katsuki are paired up for a training exercise, I'm going to have a lot to say about those points
wait.
specifically. You're gonna have to give me a 20-minute block. I'm so sorry.
I'm ready.
It's fine.
Yeah, so Hikoro Koshi is definitely using Ida to draw the watcher's attention to one specific kind of robot. This is the biggest one, but it's also worth 0 points. So it's meant more to be avoided than fought directly, and it's more a test of their battle tactics rather than like outright battle skills. Will this be significant? I wonder, is something going to happen with this kind of robot?
Say what?
I'm going to make a wild guess that Horikoshi likes video games.
Oh, what was your first clue?
Yeah.
Also, this is actually the first instance of video game explanations being used to like explain things in world. It's going to come into play again and again at the end of this season. And then off the top of my head, there's many other references in season 5. And these video game explanations are both for the students' benefit and for the audiences. So just from a writing perspective, it's a perfect vehicle for world building.
Yeah, for real. Because like even if you don't play video games, like the jargon has, trickled down pretty thoroughly into popular culture. So there's they're buzzwords that everyone's going to recognize.
Yep.
Yeah, I do play video games, and it does really help. Like, you can very easily translate like a lot of the world building stuff into a more manageable way because it is very easy to understand. Honestly, I never picked up on that, but
yeah,
because for me it was just one of those things where I knew, so I didn't pick up on it.
Right. Yeah.
This is also the first mention of the school motto, which is "Go Beyond plus Ultra." President Mike also makes this like really baffling Napoleon quote about overcoming life's misfortunes. Like, you're such a fucking nerd. I love him.
They're all nerds.
Yeah, they are. And like, I couldn't put together how the plus ultra motto like connected to Napoleon, but Wyatt, you're right. Mike's just a nerd.
I have so many headcanons about President Mike's like really, really strong opinions about Western literature.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, he teaches English. So.
He does.
Yeah, spoiler alert, he's also a teacher.
One of his many jobs.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I would be interested to be in one of his classes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just how passionate would he get? Also, English of all things, like not what you would think.
Yeah, I bet he also has very strong feelings about like English grammar.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially coming at it from someone who like, doesn't like, that's not his native language. So yeah, he's probably a really good teacher.
Yeah.
Probably. Maybe he and All Might have words to say about the Western world.
Oh, good
Oh.
point. Oh my goodness. I would kill to be in that teacher lounge.
Yep.
Just drinking coffee, maybe eating some popcorn, watching it all play out. It'd be beautiful.
President Mike also tells the kids in the subs, good luck suffering.
And that was not in the dub. I'm very concerned. What the heck?
He's just like, good luck suffering. Like
No!
finger guns and everything. Okay, so cutscene to Izuku, who is standing in front of the battleground that his group will be using for the practical exam. We're just going to assume the written test is over. We didn't see it, but I think we can go ahead and assume that. Izuku's monologue, his inner monologue that he's constantly doing, is really like empowering and confident. But then on the outside, he's like literally shaking so hard, and like he has to slap himself in order to snap out of his paralyzing fear.
Yeah, and like I have actually tried the double face slap, and it works.
It does.
I don't know what it triggers, but it does work. So listeners, try it.
I've done it too. I think it's because your brain focuses more on the physical rather than the mental, because your brain starts firing off all of these synapses, and it'll head straight to the nerves in your face. So that means like whatever else you were feeling just like doesn't become important anymore because you're feeling physical pain rather than mental pain.
So yeah, boom, end credits, then the preview. So next episode, the practical exam is started. Kids are running around. It's absolute chaos. Katsuki looks like he's having the time of his goddamn life. Where did that old lady come from? Also, Ochako helps voice part of the preview. In the sub, she says a very funny phrase. She's like, possibly shiny stuff will come out of my mouth.
Yeah, well, in the dub, she says she'll try not to vomit. So like very different dialogue here.
The subtitles were trying to be more polite.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the episode. So now Nicole's gonna take over. We're gonna do some differences between the manga and then the various anime translations, and then to Easter eggs and fan theories.
Yes. And this episode does have a few more manga differences than the previous two episodes, but none of them are very like, they don't change the plot at all. They're just basically like panel stuff. So to start off with, at the very beginning, when Toshi is talking to Izuku, there's a panel where his neck is frighteningly long. Like, I don't understand. It's so long. It doesn't have to be. And then obviously there's just some dialogue differences. It doesn't really change the plot, but they are there.
Yeah, I did note so we went into the whole like eat bit, which doesn't exist in the manga. Izuku's just like, what? And then it cuts right to the exam.
Yeah. I'm glad they added that in.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful moment.
Choice.
Yep, it was wonderful. And then I think right as he gets to UA for the exam, we do get shots of other UA alums in the pro heroes like industry, and these include Endeavor and Best Genist. We have not met we haven't met these characters yet, but they do become very important in upcoming seasons. And when Katsuki arrives at UA, it does actually get a little more specific in the manga, and Izuku says that Kachan never tormented me again. So that's more specific than their interaction in the anime.
Yeah, it's stronger language is used in the manga than in the show.
Yeah. And then back to the video game analog that Horikoshi is using in the anime, it's very obvious that he is referencing Super Mario. Like you can see the Goombas and the Koopas and the Thwonks and all that stuff. So it's very specific there. And then
I like your words, Magic Man.
And then the last difference that I spotted in the manga is that like at the very end of like where the episode leaves off, along with Aoyama, being at the B site. We haven't technically met him yet, but he's there. But he is also there with Shoji, who we
Aw.
also have not met yet. But Shoji does not show up in the anime episode. So I thought
Rude.
that was nice. Yeah.
I cannot wait till the cheese episode so we can talk about Aoyama.
Oh my
I
God,
have so
can't
many
wait.
things to say. So many things to say.
Oh my God, I love him so much.
Okay. All right. And now finally, the Easter egg and fan theory roundup for everything that was shown in this specific episode.
Yes.
Starting off with the title sequence at the beginning, I realized after the most recent anime episodes kind of reminded me of all the things. They've really been teasing Kurogiri and Aizawa right from the very first title sequence. It's like right there, and it's obvious if you watch it.
Cue sobbing noises.
Yes, Cloud Boy. Anyway, as Wyatt mentioned a few times about the unfairness of the non-battle oriented quirks in UA's hero course, we will discuss this more when we hit season 2. But when Izuku actually falls down, when All Might is on his famous Segway, he does remind me a lot of Shinso, who is the character we haven't met yet, but in this moment, there are a lot of parallels you can draw between the two. Especially how Izuku knows that he has to work harder than everyone else, and he has to dig deeper in order to excel and meet the other students where they naturally found themselves. And that is something that we will see repeated kind of more obviously when we get to Shinso.
Yeah,
I love Shinso.
I forgot that
The
he has
best.
his own little, like, it's much shorter, but it's a bit of a training montage.
Yep, he does. All right, and then kind of more of an Easter egg. Izuku's victory stance on top of the cleared trash pile is a direct mirror to when he fights against a certain villain in the camp arc, which I think is season 3, but don't quote me on that.
I think so.
Yeah. And then there's the Easter egg fan theory that we mentioned briefly about how One for All was passed down the first time. And the fan theory is that it was possibly first passed on through a kiss. And that will become more relevant when we get past the war arc in the manga.
Oh my God. That is possibly my favorite fan theory. I hardcore believe in it. It's canon for me.
Yeah, definitely. We're not going to say what the fan theory is because it's a little spoilery, but we will discuss it at length when we get to that bit in after the war arc.
Great. I need to catch up.
Yeah, you really do. Because we're making so many references. You can't fully enjoy the references if you're not caught up.
I know. And like,
Maria has an actual life.
Yeah. I guess. I guess we'll give her that. All right.
But
And
also
so-
catch up.
Yes, also catch up. Okay, very last thing. And also Maria has actually mentioned this a couple of times in this episode. At the very tail end of the training montage, as Deku is eating All Might's hair, once again, disgusting. I hate it. We do get a shot of Izuku's red shoes in the sunlight. And this is a good place to point out the red shoes fan theory that is going on. We will probably discuss it more in a bonus episode about Izuku himself. But basically these red shoes are, excuse me, these red shoes are the center of a fan theory that revolves around Izuku, the upcoming antagonist in the second half of the first season, who will meet in the USJ battle or arc, however you want to call it. And they also connect to the big villain AFO, who we've mentioned a couple times. We'll actually discuss this theory more when we meet these two, but it basically boils down to all the different ways Izuku may actually be related to the antagonists. So if you want to hear about that, just stay tuned for our bonus episodes.
Mwahaha.
Which will be released more or less sporadically as we think of them and are able to make them.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
There's not going to be a schedule.
No.
Just surprise.
It'll be happy fun time surprise.
Exactly. Okay,
Alright.
was there anything else anyone wanted to bring up?
That's it for me.
Yeah, we're good.
Same here.
All right. Well, then this has been My Hero Analysis. You'll hear us next week. And in the meantime, go beyond plus ultra and thirst responsibly. Bye, y'all.
Thanks again for listening. If you'd like to get in contact with us, have questions you'd like us to discuss on air, give topic suggestions for bonus episodes, or submit fan art for us to display, visit our website at myheroanalysis.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Just search for @myheroanalysis. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.